What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. Today is the last day. I'll put a link down in the description. If you want to sign up for Webull, you will get a free share just for joining. Deposit more than $100 and you'll get one share valued, I think, between $8 and over $1,000. It's a pretty good amount. I'm a Preferred Influencer. I use your platform a lot. And as we've talked about the past couple months, I may be in lower current prices in a lot of EV stocks, but the market has definitely been a roller coaster, the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, and I wanted to combat that. And one of the ways I wanted to do that was some stable brands. And I've been doing that by easing into these stocks, putting in 250, 500, 750, and then trying to get about $1,000 worth of these stocks. And the first one I actually went after was a competitor of a company I own in Coca-Cola, which of course is Pepsi. So let me start by saying Pepsi checks some boxes for me, at least at face value. I know the brand, I know the products. They're visible in my daily life. I mean, from my local store, my refrigerator, watch TV, try to find a week in your life where Pepsi is not shown to you. And, they don't have the marketing of Coca-Cola with their, holiday images, the polar bears, all those things. But to me, Pepsi is a very evolving company. Like Coke, they've got a track record of paying dividends. They're just 2 years away, actually, from being a dividend aristocrat with 50 years experience. They offer an international footprint, which just continues to kind of grow and see them have more presence as a brand. And to me, they separate themselves from Coke a little bit with their diversity. I mean, this is a company that owns 23 brands, and some of them, I would say, are flagship brands. Lay's, Doritos, Quaker Oats, Cheetos. When you look at the food aspect, when you look at the beverage aspect, I mean, not only Pepsi, but Gatorade, Lipton, 7-Up, Tropicana. And I think what's interesting is, if you look at kind of their sub-brand, Flamin' Hot, they cross-pollinate this brand across so many different lines, from their chips to their Matador meat snacks. This brand really doesn't have a competitor in the marketplace. Sure, other brands have a spicy chip, but Flamin' Hot as a almost sub-brand is becoming huge in what they're creating. And to me, that's one of the important parts of Pepsi when you look at their cash flow and their income. You have companies that during what we just went through had to temporarily close, had to shut down, and you don't see the impact on Pepsi as bad as you might think. Because what was offset by that relatively thriving fast food industry, which they capitalized through Yum Brands, even though that's a spinoff, means they were still selling product. And it would show to me that when you had consumers that went out, just like with Coke, there's such a brand loyalty that they're not easily going to just go to a store brand. They're not going to go to a less expensive, regional competitor. And because they couldn't go out to their favorite restaurant and get the beverage they wanted, they simply just bought it. And I think that's one of the things going forward that I really like about Pepsi is you're going to have restaurants, theme parks, stadiums, all probably see this kind of short-term surge as people go back out. But I think you're also going to see just as many people that stay home and are going to continue to move that retail product where they're going to go and they're just going to buy the products they want. And I feel like it's important to also note that while Pepsi and Coke are both iconic brands, Pepsi to me does a lot more in terms of growing its brand, increasing its market share. They have great partners. We talked about, Flamin' Hot, but think about the fact that they go out, they get Beyond Meat, they're trying to stay at least semi-relevant to their customers' changing health needs, if you can even think of health needs going hand in hand with what Pepsi does. But, they also capitalize on holiday themes. If it's less than iconic than Coke, that just happens to be it. I just saw they've got a collaboration coming with Peeps. If you think about Lay's chips, they did all those limited edition flavors. They do local flavors, fan vote flavors. So they really do try to set a bar that's hard for a lot of companies to match. And when we talk about share price and what my expectations were, to me, share price isn't always the clearest picture. As somebody that owns Coke, as somebody that owns Pepsi stock, I understand that Coke is generally about a third the cost of Pepsi per stock. And when I was short-sighted, I used to just think of, if I have more shares, I'll get more dividends, I'll see more growth. And that's not exactly the best mindset to have. Because if you actually look at it, Coke has about 4.8 billion shares outstanding. A lot of them owned by Warren Buffett. We all know, how are you going to go wrong investing beside somebody like that? But Pepsi has less than 1.5 billion shares outstanding. So when you actually look at it as buying stock equates to ownership of a company, it is actually a little cheaper to get into Pepsi when you're looking at the overall ownership reflected through the stock price based on how many shares are there. So with all that said, I'm on my second lot of Pepsi, if you will. I have my own price target in about the $135 range. I think that gives me room to see profit if it gets up into, say, the high 140s. Hold on to the yield that I have now, which isn't much. But right now, my price target being at 135, I'm at 136. It's not all that fluctuating, but I'm hoping that I can get to a point where I can move in the final $200, $500 into the stock and kind of maintain that mid 130s price. And just for the record on this, Pepsi and Coke are the only brands that I own. I don't own Monster. And Pepsi is actually only matched with Utz, which I got into as a SPAC, and Conagra, which is one of the first stocks that I bought as food brand holdings that I have. So it's not like I'm going out and buying all the junk food under the sun. I guess you might want to throw Tattooed Chef in there as well, but Tattooed Chef, when I buy something as a SPAC, I look at it a little differently than if I go out and buy it as an established brand. So love to know your guys' thoughts on this. Appreciate you checking it out, and I will be back in the week with more commentary.